In this video, I want to talk about what is desire and ultimately why it doesn't even exist. Yes, my argument is very simple. The human soul never had any desires. So you, me, everyone, every person that ever existed never had any desires. And what does this mean? It means that the soul is always content. It's indifferent to experiences. That the soul is not wanting anything. But how is this true? What is this really trying to say? Well, the idea is that none of us asked to exist. We simply exist. If you can't even have the say in choosing to exist, then how can you possibly have any desires at all? See, it's not just humans that don't have any desires. It's anything and everything that exists. Because ultimately, nature didn't give you the choice to live or to not live. You just live. And if you don't have the choice to even choose to live or not, all desires from there on out cannot be legitimate. I'll tell you what desires really are. Desires are delusions. They're signs of insanity. They are basically a delusion. And the fulfillment of a desire, though it may seem like it is just a confirmation of insanity. That's all it is. A fulfillment of a desire is just a confirmation of insanity. Because the soul is always content. The healthy soul, the soul is pure and it doesn't want anything. It's content. And the pleasure, the satisfaction, and positive things are not what they seem. They are not at all pleasant to your soul. They only seem like they are. But they are the fulfillment of desires, which are really just delusions. So no one ever wanted anything. No animal, no creature, no God. Nothing ever wanted anything. Desire is insanity. It's that weak spot in your psyche that arises when something is not healthy. And therefore, I have a very practical solution to this. Once you realize that you're without desire, you want to realize that everyone is too, and you want them to be healthy. If everyone was sane, there would be no suffering. The greatest, therefore, and only holy war is done by staying sane, going towards sanity. Because when you're sane, it rubs off on the world, and you can make the world a healthier, better place. So, I'm not saying that the soul is naturally suffering. Pain is also not the natural state, but the natural state is somewhere in the middle between anything that's way better than just good, like the pleasure and satisfaction, and something that's like suffering and not so just good. Because it's all about sanity. Sanity is always the so-called middle path. The greatest and only holy war is done by staying sane. If you can go towards sanity, your delusions go away. That's what they say in they kind of hint at this in some yogic traditions and Buddhist traditions, that an enlightened person has no desires. They have become desire free. So truly, when you are truly healthy, you're desire free, and that's sanity. All insanity is the state of having desires, the state of being delusional, wanting something that isn't, thinking you want something that you don't really want. That's what enlightenment is. That's what those traditions are trying to tell us. So I have nothing else to say. Remember, desire is just an illusion and a delusion. No one ever wanted anything. The soul wants nothing. Every experience is equally indifferent to it. It's also the case with the Abrahamic tradition of the Bible where, Satan, the one who tempted them to do something to get a certain reward. And what had happened after? Well, bad things will happen to them. So you understand that it is these desires that tempt us. But really, Satan is not desire itself. Satan is the one that makes you think you have these desires or tempts you to have them, the giver of these false desires. And eventually, the soul just either submits to it or not. And I personally believe that going through with your desires is what makes you suffer eventually, right? Because what goes up has to come down. And if a person goes after their desires, the desires of the flesh, so to speak, the desires and temptations of Satan, yeah, they might get a little bit of feel-good stuff at first, but again, that's just a delusion. And when the delusion rubs off and cleans off, what happens is you find pain inside. And you find that you never really gained anything through the following of the desires, through getting that pleasure and satisfaction. These were just some thoughts on delusion, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay sane.